Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, we're going to be making our last NFL video of the 2021-2022 season. We have the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, and this is our last NFL slate of the year. But it's going to be a massive slate, with it being such a big game. As you would expect, Draftkings is running huge contests for the Super Bowl slate. $6 million in total prizes with a million to first. It's a $15 entry. There's massive tournaments outside of this main tournament as well, but this is obviously the main tournament that a lot of people are going to be focused on. It's a millionaire maker with $6 million in total prizes. We're going to talk through this showdown slate like we do in every video. We're going to start from top to bottom, really hit on all the playable options, all the guys that I do have interest in for the slate. But before we do get started with the breakdown, please do hit the like button down below, guys. I always appreciate the likes. If you are new here and you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. I know that this is like the last NFL game of the year, but I do provide content in other sports as well. I make NBA content daily. If you're into NBA, I usually will post baseball. I'm not sure yet if I'll be making baseball content for the upcoming MLB season. We'll have to see there, but I did make a lot of NFL content during the year. I know the NFL content kind of slowed down for a little bit, but I kind of picked it back up during the playoffs, and obviously I wanted to get a video out for the Super Bowl slate with it being such a massive game, a game that people love to bet on. So if you are new, hit that subscribe button. Also, go check out the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. So PrizePicks is a player prop based DFS site where you're picking over or under on players' projections. And man, like PrizePicks, they have a ton of options for this Super Bowl slate. They have so many props you can bet on outside of your normal, passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions. They have, defensive props. They have, pass completions, pass attempts, quarterback completion percentage, quarterback rating, and obviously, defensive props. So tackles, sacks, tackles for loss, quarterback hits, first downs allowed. Like you're just picking over or under on these projections. They have so many options. They have punts. You can bet on whether how many punts each punter attempts. Over or under on there. You can attempt their gross punt yards, their longest gross punt yards. There's just everything imaginable for the Super Bowl game. You can win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. You can check out all their props they have available for the Super Bowl slate. They do offer a lot of other sports as well. But with this being an NFL video, I'm sure most of you guys are kind of looking for stuff to bet on for the NFL game. So go check out PrizePicks, sign up over there, use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. So basically, if you sign up with my code, you deposit $100, PrizePicks will match that, and they will give you an additional $100 to play with. So now you have $200 that you can use to bet on whatever props you want for this Super Bowl slate. But yeah, guys, go check them out. Sign up. Use code NOAH when you do. And if you guys do want some of my favorite picks for the Super Bowl slate, along with my favorite picks for other sports as well for NBA, I do provide all that over on Patreon. If you're interested in some of my other DFS content, I provide along with my PrizePicks plays. I give those all out on Patreon. You can check that out. It's linked down below in the description. But let's take a look at the top of the player pool for the Super Bowl slate. We're going to start off with Cooper Kupp, most expensive option, $11,600. I mean, Cooper Kupp this season has been unstoppable. I mean, it's just his volume has been absurd. He's been getting massive usage, double-digit targets on almost literally like every single game this season. In the playoffs, he's been really good against Tampa Bay, 11 targets, 9 catches, 183 yards and a touchdown. In their conference championship game against the 49ers, 11 catches, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like any showdowns like the Rams are on, like Cooper Kupp is just a guy that, if you fade him, you're basically just like, you say a prayer before the game starts because he's one of the scariest fades right now. He's been a scary fade all season. If you've played DFS all season, any week or any slate Cooper Kupp's on, you're just like crossing your fingers if you don't play him. He's just got such massive upside. He gets such good volume. The defensive game plan for the Bengals, are they going to try and like double Cooper Kupp? I mean, we don't really know, but I think Cooper Kupp, just with how much he's involved, with the amount of volume he gets, he's clearly one of the top plays on this showdown slate. Then you have the quarterbacks, who I think are both very solid options. Usually every showdown slate, quarterbacks are going to stand out as pretty solid plays. I think that's definitely the case here, especially with this being a game that, is expected to be somewhat high scoring. We have a 48.5 total in this game, so I think we should see, a good amount of points scored on both sides. Quarterbacks always give you very safe floors. Normally, even if a QB has a bad game, they're probably still going to score like 15 to 18 DraftKings points. And both these quarterbacks have shown plenty of upside this year, especially Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow might be my favorite of the two quarterbacks. It's really going to all come down to roster construction. When you're building out your lineups, if you're playing a Bengals receiver at captain, then you're probably going to play Joe Burrow in those lineups. If you're playing a Rams receiver at captain, you're probably going to play Matthew Stafford in those lineups. They're definitely would be lineups I would probably want to try and get both quarterbacks in. But normally on these showdown slates, you're going to want to play one of the two QBs. If you don't play either QB, it's really unlikely that that winds up being like the winning lineup. A lot of times you're going to see both QBs in the winning lineup. I think Joe Burrow, with how much they've been letting him throw the ball lately, with 35, 40 pass attempts on the table, he's got plenty of upside here. He's got plenty of offensive weapons. The Rams defense is really good, but I think Joe Burrow's a really good play here. I think Matthew Stafford is a very solid option as well. Both quarterbacks look like really, really safe plays here on this showdown slate. Then you got Jamar Chase at 10,400. I mean, Jamar Chase might not have the same floor as Cooper Kupp. Like, Cooper Kupp's volume makes him an elite high floor option. But damn, like, the ceiling for Jamar Chase is just as high as Cooper Kupp. We've seen Jamar Chase put up just, absurd games against the Chiefs back in Week 17, had 58 DraftKings points. Against the Raiders, had 25 DK points. Like, he's got 100-plus yards, multiple touchdown upside. I think he'll be a lot lower owned than a guy like Cooper Kupp. So if you want to play Chase as a pivot off of Kupp, I mean, I don't feel great about that because obviously Kupp is just such a good option right now. He's just so safe. He has such a high floor, such a high ceiling. But if you want to make the pivot in tournaments, I mean, if you're playing in this Millionaire Maker, there's 470,000 entries in this tournament. Like, you have to find a way to get different, whether that means, fading Cooper Kupp, leaving salary on the table, playing some low-owned guys. Like, you're going to have to do something to get different if you're trying to win first place or, split first place with as few people as possible in this contest. You got to get a little different somehow. So, Jamar Chase is a pivot off a Kupp. I don't mind. Joe Mixon at 9,600. We know what Joe Mixon's workload's going to be. He's going to get probably 15 to 18 carries. They've been using him a lot more in the passing game as of late, especially like in the playoffs and, towards the end of the regular season. He's been, getting 5, 6, 7 targets a game. And on DraftKings, with it being full PPR scoring, getting running backs that can catch 5 or 6 balls just adds to their floor. It adds to their ceiling. Mixon, I think, will probably need to get at least 1, if not 2 touchdowns to really put up a score that you have to have. But, with the volume that he's getting, with how many touches he should get, obviously it's possible that he does, catch 5, 6 balls. He gets, 80, 100 rushing yards, gets a rushing touchdown. Like, the ceiling's definitely there for Joe Mixon. I feel a little bit better about the receivers. Like, I think I'd rather go to, like, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, even save salary and play, like, T. Higgins, Cam Akers. But, Mixon's definitely viable. I mean, Odell Beckham, he's been great for the Rams. He's been, he's kind of looked like his old self. He's shown, big-time upside. He's been getting good volume. He got 11 targets last week against San Francisco. He has clearly established himself as the wide receiver 2 in this Rams offense. He's been playing way ahead of Van Jefferson. He's been playing way more snaps than Van Jefferson. His volume's been higher than Jefferson's as well. And now the Rams are going to be without Tyler Higbee. We already have gotten word that Tyler Higbee will not play in the Super Bowl. So we should probably get close to double-digit targets from Odell. We know he always offers big play upside. He can always take a slant to the house. He can always break off a long touchdown catch. I mean, Odell at 8,400, playing in his first ever Super Bowl, he's going to want to show out. I think Odell Beckham definitely in play, 8,400. T. Higgins, 7,600, another guy that's just going to get good volume. I mean, it's hard to say anything negative about these receivers because these guys are just going to get so much opportunity. You're going to see 9, 10 targets for T. Higgins. Same for Odell Beckham. You're going to have to make some stands somewhere. So, if you're playing like one lineup, between Higgins or Odell, like I might side with Odell, but again, it'll just come down to roster construction. Maybe in lineups where I'm going heavy on Rams players, maybe I play Odell in those lineups. Maybe in a lineup where I'm playing like Joe Burrow at captain and I want to try and pair him with like 2 of his receivers, then I would probably play like a T. Higgins in that lineup. So it really just comes down to roster construction, but I definitely think Odell, T. Higgins, both solid options here in the mid-range. Cam Akers, right now he's projecting out as one of like the best values on Showdown Slate, just because with his price point and with the amount of volume he's projected to get, he's just definitely underpriced. I think he's projected for like 15 DraftKings points, which is more than guys like Tyler Boyd. It's more than basically everyone priced around him. He's almost projected for the same amount of points as T. Higgins, who he's very closely priced to, a little bit cheaper than Cam Akers. We don't exactly know what kind of workload he's going to get. So far, the last few weeks, the volume, the opportunity has been there. Now, the Tampa Bay game, I don't want to say he got benched down the stretch, but he definitely, saw some workload ceded to Sony Michel, because late in that game, he fumbled twice, if I remember correctly. Cam Akers fumbled twice in that Tampa Bay game. He almost cost them the game. Then next week against San Francisco, he didn't play as many snaps as people expected. I do believe he might have gotten hurt in that game, though, if I remember correctly. Cam Akers last game they played against San Francisco, he played on, he played on 39% of the snaps. Sony Michel outplayed him 57% of the snaps. I do believe, though, that Akers got injured in that game, if I remember correctly. the game was like 2 weeks ago, so I've forgotten already. But I want to say that he did. Yeah, it says Akers navigated a shoulder injury that led him to a brief exit in the first half. So yeah, I think Akers might have left that game early. Yeah, they've had about 2 weeks to prep for the Super Bowl. He got a full practice in on Thursday. I think Akers is kind of the lead back here, but the Rams did activate Darrell Henderson, so they will have 3 running backs active for this game. Cam Akers, Sony Michel, Darrell Henderson. It could be like a 3-way running back by committee, but I expect Akers to be the lead back. I think he probably gets between 14 to 15 carries, somewhere around there, maybe gets a couple targets. I would think he probably gets the goal line work as well. At 6,400, I think Akers is a pretty solid option here. Now, right now, again, he's projecting out as one of the best values, so he's also projecting for a lot of ownership. But I definitely think with the workload that Akers is expected to get, with him kind of being the lead back for this Rams team, at 6,400, he's definitely underpriced for his role. Even if we do expect some touches for Sony Michel, some touches for Darrell Henderson, I think Cam Akers is still the lead back in this Rams offense. But then we can kind of talk about some of the value plays. So below 6K, this slate is kind of starred for value. There's not too much that stands out below 6K, but you do have guys like Tyler Boyd, Van Jefferson you can definitely look to. Tyler Boyd's going to operate out of the slot, probably see anywhere from like 5, 6, 7 targets. He's been a lot more inconsistent than guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but we've still seen Tyler Boyd, get plenty of opportunity. He's going to be on, he's going to be on the field for a large majority of the game. He's going to play probably, I want to say 80 to 90% of the snaps. I mean, last week, he played 70% of the snaps. The week before that, 90 and 91% of the snaps. So even though he plays out of the slot, he's still going to be on the field for a large majority of the snaps. He's going to get 5, 6, 7 targets at least. At 5,400, I have no issues with Tyler Boyd as a value. Van Jefferson, I kind of like as a low-owned value. Now, Van Jefferson has been really bad lately. The volume has not been there either. But we know Van Jefferson does offer big play upside, and we've seen him break off long touchdown catches this season. He is, he's kind of fallen behind Odell Beckham in terms of, target share. Odell's been, definitely getting way more opportunity than Van Jefferson has. But I think with the big play upside that Van Jefferson offers, with the potential that he can, catch a 60, 70-yard bomb and pay off this price tag in one play, that makes Van Jefferson an appealing, tournament option for me. I don't think he really gets much ownership, just because with how bad he's been, with how inconsistent he's been, with the targets, not really being there. I don't think a ton of people are going to click Van Jefferson's name. This is a showdown slate that does kind of attract a lot of casual players. Some of these showdown slates you'll see ownership kind of be condensed on the really good plays. I think on a big slate like this, with a large amount of money up top, with so many casual players playing on these showdown slates, you're going to see ownership a little bit more spread out, just because I think people are not, they're not looking at projections, they're not looking at stuff that they probably should be. They're just kind of, blindly making their lineup. So I think Van Jefferson is a low-owned play. I do like quite a bit. Right now, his projected ownership is, it's 13% in the captain, I believe. Let me see. That can't be right. There's no way he's projected for 13% captain ownership. So let me see. Van Jefferson's projected for 16 total percent ownership. I believe 3% in the captain, 13% in the flex. So 16% ownership from Van Jefferson. That's something I do like a lot in tournaments, just because Van Jefferson's one of these guys that can break off a long touchdown and pay off his price tag in one play. It's gonna come down to him and Stafford actually connecting on that deep ball. But I think in the 3, 4, 5 targets that Van Jefferson gets, you just hope he catches like a long touchdown, and if he does, he could be a guy that wins you the slate. So definitely like Van Jefferson as a value, as a lower owned value play. Sony Michel, I mean, I don't think I could really go there. He did get some opportunity last week, but again, I think Akers did have to leave that game a little bit for injury. With Darrell Henderson active for the Super Bowl, how much is Darrell Henderson going to take away from Michel? I don't think I'd be going to the other running backs from the Rams. I think if I was going to play a Rams running back, it would just be Cam Akers. Michel's not that cheap either. I mean, he's $5K. I would just rather find, the $1,400 and get up to Akers, who probably gets, way more opportunity than Michel will. I think for Michel to really put up a good game, it's going to have to be because either Akers fumbles and, gets benched, or because of injury. So I just really wouldn't bank on that. I don't have much interest in Michel. Kendall Blanton, I think, will be someone that we kind of look to for value, because with Tyler Higbee with Tyler Higbee already ruled out, Kendall Blanton last week after Higbee got injured, he played on almost every snap after Higbee exited the game. So Higbee played on 14 snaps last week, 18% of the snaps before he got injured. Kendall Blanton played on 61 snaps afterwards, played on 79%, basically filled in for Tyler Higbee and played the role that Tyler Higbee was playing. He did get 5 targets, he got 5 catches for 57 yards. I mean, again, we're kind of starving for value, so I think 4,600 for Kendall Blanton. We're getting close to an every down tight end at this price point in a pretty good offense, and an offense that we expect to score 3-4 touchdowns minimum. So I think Kendall Blanton for value makes plenty of sense. We did get word that CJ Uzomah is expected to play. At 4,400, I have no issues going to Uzomah. The one worry I have is that we don't really know if Uzomah's fully healthy here. This could be one of those scenarios where he's just trying to gut it out and play through injury, because at the Super Bowl, it's their last game of the season. You obviously, if you can fight through the pain, you want to try and be out there for your team for a game like this. Is Uzomah fully healthy? I mean, we don't really know, but I think at 4,400, he's going to play on a large majority of the snaps when he's out there. He's, when he's been healthy, Uzomah has been a pretty good, or he's been a pretty heavily used tight end, getting 6-7 targets a week. So no issues going to Uzomah either. A little bit of a riskier option. I probably would prefer Blanton straight up, but I think Uzomah's in play. The kickers are always fine. Kickers are usually going to give you, or going to offer you, a pretty safe floor. The ceiling for kickers is not super, super high. Rarely do kickers put up, like 18 or 20 DraftKings points, but a lot of times kickers will score, 9, 10, 11 DK points, which is solid. McPherson specifically has been a super, super solid kicker this year. You look at his game log, I mean, he's got double-digit DK points in 6 or 7 straight games. So, I think the kickers, totally fine. Probably would only roster one of the two, though, because I think you are limiting your ceiling if you play both kickers in the same lineup. I just don't really see a scenario where that winds up being the winning combination, unless it's like a really low-scoring game or something. But I think one of the two kickers is fine. The defenses are always viable. I don't love either defense on this slate. I think in order for the defenses to get there, they're going to have to get like a defensive touchdown. With how much pressure the Rams can put on opposing offenses, with how much the Bengals offensive line has struggled this year. We saw Joe Burrow get sacked like 9 times against the Titans in the playoffs. I mean, with Von Miller and Aaron Donald, rushing Joe Burrow, if their offensive line can't hold up, I mean, this could definitely be a game where the Rams defense gets 4 or 5 sacks. So, I don't mind going to the Rams defense at 3,400. Again, for defenses to really get there, they kind of have to get like a defensive touchdown, but there's always a possibility that happens. You get a scoop and score, you get a strip sack. Don't mind going to the Rams defense as a value. And I think that's it. Like, I don't see too much else down here. Samaje Perine, he did take a screen to the house last week. He had 3 catches for 43 yards. He had a 41-yard touchdown catch. It was a screen that he took to the house. I mean, I think if Perine doesn't take that screen to the house last week, he scores like 2 DraftKings points or something. So I think Perine not really going to be someone that I would go to for value. Darrell Henderson, I mean, we haven't seen Darrell Henderson in a while, so we really have no idea what his workload is going to be. I'd expect he's basically the 3rd-string running back. Maybe gets 3 or 4 touches. I don't think he's going to be heavily utilized at all, so I don't really have much interest in Darrell Henderson. Ben Skoranek, I mean, no, like he's going to maybe get 1 or 2 targets. I mean, these are just like dart throws. You're just kind of saying prayers. You're just rostering guys here hoping for like a touchdown, or maybe they get like 2 or 3 catches and get 6 or 7 DraftKings points. I think when it comes to value, I'm looking to guys like Van Jefferson, Tyler Boyd, Kendall Blanton, one of the kickers. Like, that's kind of where the value I think is on this slate. There isn't much value to begin with, but that's where I'd really be looking. And I think that's it, guys. I think we really talked about all the playable options, all the players I have interest in for this slate. Again, I hope this video helped, guys. It's been a fun NFL season. I know the NFL content has kind of been inconsistent. I did stop making NFL content for a little bit there, but I've wanted to get up content during the playoffs. You guys have shown a lot of love on the NFL videos, so I do really appreciate all the support. We'll be back next season. Hopefully, we'll be more consistent with the NFL content next season. We'll still be pumping out NBA videos as well. Getting NBA videos up Monday through Friday, live streaming for NBA. So if you enjoy the NFL videos, maybe you want to check out NBA after the NFL season's over with, after Sunday. I do provide NBA content on YouTube as well. To be determined if I make baseball videos. We don't even know if baseball is going to even happen this summer, but I might make some MLB videos this summer. That's to be determined. But again, guys, appreciate all your support. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. As we talked about earlier, PrizePicks, they have a ton of props up for the Super Bowl. They have so much you can bet on outside of your normal props. Quarterback, passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards. Outside of those normal props, they've got first downs allowed, third downs allowed, fourth downs allowed, time of possession. You can bet on everything on PrizePicks, and they offer a lot of other sports as well outside of just NFL. So if you're into other sports, you can check out their entire board, make some picks for yourself. You can win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. Go check them out. Sign up. Use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. But best of luck on this Super Bowl slate, guys. Enjoy your Super Bowl weekend. Hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.